Out of all 8 members of RWBY's 2 main teams, it is undoubtable that Nora Valkyrie has gotten the least amount of development of them all. She was simply the cute, bubbly fighter, and even when we saw the slightest glimpse of her backstory in Volume 4, her role in that storyline was purely as support for Ren. Volume 7 saw this start to change. We saw a new side of Nora, one with a strong sense of justice and a hatred for abandoning people, focusing on a more serious side to her personality that contrasted with her typical overexcited energy. The same volume also saw her grappling with her confusing relationship with Ren, resulting in a post-argument kiss that was cut short by tragedy. But Volume 8 is when Nora really got her time in the spotlight. For the first time in years, she and Ren went their separate ways after each had conflicting ideas on how to best help Atlas. Without Ren, Nora begins to doubt herself, not really knowing who she is without him or what she contributes to the group other than being tough and destructive.
I don't actually know who I am without Ren. Pretty sad, huh?
Well, maybe take this opportunity to find out. Do something only Nora can do.
Like what? Be strong and hit stuff?
This self-doubt culminates in Nora making a risky move to save Penny, severely injuring herself and being knocked out in the process. For the next several episodes, she is bedridden in the Schnee Manor, while the rest of the group try to figure out what to do. As she starts to regain consciousness, Nora only feels worse, wondering what she could possibly contribute now that she is temporarily unable to fight.
Now what am I good for?
As much as that line hurt to hear, the glimpse it offered into Nora's mind was significant. Up until now, both the audience and Nora herself defined her by 2 things: her fighting ability and her relationship with Ren. Without the ability to battle, and without Ren, Nora feels lost and useless. She lacks confidence in herself as a person, and in doing the one thing she thought she was good for, she only put herself into an even worse position. Even when other characters assure her that she's more than just Ren's partner, more than just a ditzy fighter, she has a hard time believing it. As far as she's concerned, she's lost both defining parts of herself. This really hit home for me personally. I have early onset osteoarthritis as a result of Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and it has severely impacted my ability to draw and write. For as long as I can remember, I've considered these creative abilities to be the one thing I'm mildly good at, and I don't know what I'll do when it becomes too difficult for me to keep doing it. It's not quite the same situation as Nora's, but I can relate to the feeling of losing what defines you and not knowing what to do without it. But, of course, Nora is Nora, and she doesn't give up. The first thing she does upon waking up is comfort a glitching Penny, repeating the same wisdom that Blake had given her previously in the volume.
No one's gonna make you do anything you don't want to do.
But there is a part of me. It's making me.
It's just a part of you. Don't forget about the rest.
This moment is where I believe Nora started to break out of her struggle, realizing that it would be hypocritical for her to repeat Blake's words to someone else without applying them to herself. However, when she and Ren reunite after several episodes, she still hasn't shaken off her doubt. She makes a bitter remark about how her injury was her own fault, by rightfully lashing out at Ren for his behavior during their time in Atlas, feeling that she'd been ignored by him. This prompts Ren to apologize, and the two end up having a sincere and incredibly sweet conversation, where Ren counters Nora's self-doubt by telling her exactly why he loves her. Nora is offered the chance to have the romantic relationship with Ren that she's wanted for years, but instead of taking it, she explains that she needs to figure out who she is without him first. She's done with lying around and feeling sorry for herself. If she doesn't know who she is anymore, then she's going to find out herself. Nora is my favorite character in the entire show, and that's largely because of the focus she got in Volumes 7 and 8. Initially, her character is one we've seen 1,000 times, the energetic and bubbly character with a hammer who crushes on her friend. But RWBY does something with this character that I haven't seen many other media do. It takes the general audience view of the character and turns it into a big hidden insecurity for them. Nora's simple character traits become catalysts for doubt as she is forced to figure out who she is without them, questioning her worth upon losing what she thinks defines her. I've always loved how RWBY handles its character arcs, but Nora's has to be one of my favourites and it's only just begun. With Volume 9 focusing almost entirely on Team RWBY, I don't know how much of Nora's self-discovery we'll get to see, but I pray that it will become a recurring storyline in future volumes. Thank you all so much for watching. This is my first new video on this channel, so I don't have any similar content to promote yet, but if you want to see more stuff like this, please consider liking, subscribing, and maybe even leaving a comment with ideas as to what I could do next. See you next time!